Hi, hello high school community and welcome to this year's high school virtual open house. Unfortunately, we can't be all together in person this year, but it's lovely to welcome you in our virtual environment. My name's Charlie Hulks and I'm the Associate High School Principal, and I've recorded this video just to give you a little introduction to open house this year, and then all the teachers will be able to show you their videos for all the great learning that's been going on in the high school so far this year. Right, so of course our first core value as a high school is learning, which is that underpins everything that we do in the high school, and it's obviously of extreme importance. We continue to run really challenging curricula in the high school, the IGCSE program in grade 9 and grade 10, building up to the IB diploma program in grade 11 and 12. So great learning's going on inside and increasingly outside the classroom. And as you can see from the slide, we have a picture here from a geography field trip to Solar Beach last year, where students were learning really important skills. So learning inside and outside the classroom is really important to us. And along with the core curricula and the knowledge that students gain, it's very important that we develop 21st century skills with these students, because that is what is going to make them successful in their careers in the future when they graduate and leave us after grade 12. So focusing on student autonomy, building capacity to understand your own learning and how you learn, thinking about digital literacy and how we use the digital world around us, critical thinking skills, which are extremely important, along with creativity and also communication skills. There are very few careers now that our students will go into which don't revolve around the idea of communication, and it's extremely important. McKinsey did some very important research recently. They interviewed over 18,000 people in 15 countries, looking at the most important transferable skills that students need in order for us to future-proof the economy. And as you can see from this slide in front of you, many of these transferable skills are really important for our students to develop. And that's something that we're working on developing alongside the core knowledge in the curriculum. There's so many different careers that our students are going to do which didn't exist 5 or 10 years ago that they may go into in the future, as well as the more traditional ones. And in a recent presentation to the new high school students, I talked about some careers, jobs that didn't even exist 5 years ago, and you can see them on the screen. And it's important that we understand that these transferable skills are so important, because if we can't prepare students for something we know about yet, what we can do is prepare them to have the skills to understand how they can apply their knowledge and skills into something new, into new environments. It's also extremely important that we are successful with the students with their IGCSE and IB program, and somebody who's very central to that is Lynn Park, our IGCSE and IB coordinator. She's always available to families to discuss IGCSE and IB choices throughout those years of high school, and you can contact Lynn at any time if you've got any questions. We've continued to have really great success with the IGCSE and the IB diploma program in 2001, and considering the pandemic and the disruption that we had to our learning environment, we're extremely proud of the results. 93% of the students who took IGCSE gained an A to C, and actually 64% of them got A stars and A's, which is a wonderful achievement. And our IB diploma students have done so well this year. We're extremely proud of them. They scored an average of 35 points, which is above the world average, and 92% of the candidates gained the full diploma, which again is well above world average. So a massive congratulations to those IGCSE students, and also to our IB diploma graduates for last year. And we continue to work on and build on that success over the course of the coming years. We're still maintaining our commitment to 21st century learning. We're continuing, obviously, with our MacBook program for students and developing their understanding of Google Suite, and carrying on with our use of Google Classroom, which our student community is now very familiar with. And this is all under the direction of our IT director, David Devey, who's always available if anyone has any questions. And our high school, middle school library is undergoing a really big upgrade at the moment. It will hopefully open next week we've had to cope with a few corona delays, but we have a wonderful newly refurbished facility with video conferencing opportunities and much more flexible working spaces. And we're hoping that the students find this really, really conducive to individual and group learning in the coming weeks. So as soon as that's ready, we will be sharing some video footage with you about that new facility. And we're also welcoming our new librarian, Karina Mansfield, in the coming week or so. Right, as well as learning, which of course underpins and is central to everything we're doing, well-being, as always, is extremely important to us here in the high school. It's very, very important that students have a good, strong level of well-being, because of course it supports their learning. The two things are synonymous with each other and extremely important. And you can see from the slide in front of you, we've got some pictures of the students doing their fitness and wellness course down at the Three Swords, and one of our trips last year to Flawley, where the students climbed over 4,000 steps to an amazing view above the fjord. Well-being is focused on in terms of physical education and thinking about the balance we have in life, but it's also important that students get support for their well-being from a number of different areas. And one of the member of staff that's really central to that is Holly Highbine, our high school counsellor, who is available for students at any time during the week with help with any concerns that they may have, or if they've got concerns for other students as well. So please feel free to contact Holly at any point if you need any support and help. And Holly is also central to our university application process, helping students make those decisions about the next steps for their future. Our third core value, which is extremely important, is community. We have a fundamental belief in the importance of the community, about respecting and supporting each other, and that how students and staff create a community ethos around them. So you can see a photo in front of you from Spirit Day, where, for example, Mr. Ness and Mr. Yelnick dressed up in order just to raise community spirit. And below that is a picture of the students organising a Peace Day, UN Peace Day assembly. So sharing their knowledge and understanding with the students and focusing on the importance of peace in the community. And central to the idea of community is being involved in a number of different activities, and we're very lucky to still offer a wide range of extracurricular activities for the students, from STUCO to Cameroon Service Project to Model United Nations, where over half our high school are involved, and through to Climate Change Club. I'd like to thank all those members of our community which supported the Climate Change Club last year when they did their Favela project and their online art auction. It's really, really important that we work together as a community and support the students with their projects, so thank you for that, and I'm sure we can count on your support for projects that will be coming up over the next year or so. It's also a good idea to mention that, of course, we have English as an additional language for many of our students. This is an important aspect of their learning environment, and Veronica Cosgrove is there to support students in the EAL programme. And also learning support. Many of our students know that they just need a little bit of help in supporting key areas in order to achieve the success that they want to achieve, and Carla Muller, our learning support teacher, is always available to help and support those students. We still continue to have a strong athletics program this year: volleyball, soccer, cross-country, basketball, and other sports. And we're really, really hoping now that the COVID restrictions are much lower. The students will be able to be involved in those team sports at a much higher level again. And we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with the NESIS competitions over the coming month, but we're hopeful that perhaps later on in the year they will continue as well. Students can also still be involved in wonderful arts programs. Band and choir continues, and the high school musical this year is already underway, Radio Caroline, and I had the wonderful opportunity of watching the students rehearse yesterday afternoon. We have over 50 students involved in the production this year, and I can't wait. I'm sure Miss Landis and Miss Wallace can't wait to share the wonderful performances with you in November. We continue to support the students through the SOAR advisory program, and you can see on the screen who the advisory leaders are for each grade level, and they're there as well to support Holly Highbine with supporting the students in terms of their well-being and also just their academic progress. And they also help with the SOAR advisory program, which is the time in school where we focus on elements which are not necessarily covered in the curriculum, from anything from digital literacy to health education to careers advice, many different aspects which are a really important part of that program. Communication in the high school. Most communication goes through the community portal, and that's where I post my updates and important things like student-led conference booking and things like that. And then we generally use email for specific grade groups. If we've got a situation or some information which involves just a grade group, then that tends to go out by email. Please continue to use the email address highschoolattendance@isstavanger.no to report absences. It's really important for health and safety that those are accurate. So if students need to leave school for appointments or are ill, please email that to us in the morning. And please feel free to contact teachers at any point through their school email. They're very happy to communicate with you and even meet you if necessary. Please just let us know. We've got a couple of grading and reports updates that are going to happen this year, which I'd like to share with you. This year we'll be standardising our grading scale to a simple 1 to 7 structure. Very little change. It just means that the pluses and minuses with some of the levels are going to be taken away. This change has no impact on the IB diploma or IGCSE assessments in any way. And the rationale behind it is to create more clarity, to communicate with colleges and universities in the USA and elsewhere, to create the standardisation across middle school and high school, which is really important. And it's also more in line with educational best practice around the world. So you might see that on a transcript from previous years it has pluses and minuses, and from this year it doesn't. That's absolutely nothing to worry about at all. It's just that this change has taken place, which is beneficial for the students. And also a little bit of a COVID update. We're very pleased that we're starting in green status, and we're very much hoping that we can stay that way. But there are some important current expectations that we need to make sure that we're following as a community. We continue to use anti-bac and hand washing before every class. It's really important that students stay home if they're ill and don't come to school sharing any of their illnesses. And it's really good if the students have a mask available if it's requested by the teacher. So for example, we may be in a situation where we have a lab where students are really condensed in a close space together for a substantial amount of time, and it would just make more sense to have a mask there. So if you could make sure that your son or daughter has one in their backpack, that would be very helpful. And then the reality is right now infection rates are on the rise, particularly in local high schools, and we need to be vigilant because the status could change at any time. And we're in constant touch with the health authorities with regards to testing and vaccinations and quarantine, and we will always share that important information with you as and when necessary. And all that remains for me to say is that you can please go along to your son or daughter or guardian's Google Classroom and have a look at the videos that the staff have made for you to share, to help share an understanding of the learning that's going on in all our high school courses. The videos are posted on the students' Google Classrooms, and they'll be available for the next week or so. So thank you so much. I hope this introduction to the high school has been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you physically in school very soon.